Hello, my name is badgraphix and I'm an indie game developer working on my second indie game, the evolid. This is the 11th devlog and I'm gonna talk about what I've done over the past 2 weeks. We're gonna take a look at the new things which I've added, including lava flowing out of pipes and falling rocks. And I'm gonna explain how I implemented those two things. If you like my videos, or if you're just interested in indie game development in general, then consider subscribing. So first of all, I owe you an apology for not uploading a video last Sunday. The last 2 weeks were very busy for me and I didn't really get much progress done over the last weeks. So, the first thing that I wanted to implement, which I've mentioned in the last devlog video, are lava shooting pipes. I also said turrets, but I'm not gonna add turrets because many game developers recommend to reduce the ideas you have and cut them half. The first thing that we need for pipes are of course pixel art sprites. That wasn't very difficult, and after that I wanted to implement the lava. There were really two ways I could implement that. Through using a particle system or using some kind of fluid simulation, but I have never really done anything with that. And also, I suppose it would cost really much performance issues if we use complex simulations. So I'm just gonna use a particle system for that, and that's really very easy. So we've got to make two things happen. First of all, we have to make the particles glow like lava. That was really simple. I just assigned the same materials as the sparks shooting out of the lava. Please tell me in the comment section if that really looks like lava, if there's something to change about the glow or the color. Then second of all, we need to make the lava actually hurt the player. We can achieve that by using particle collisions. That's really easy. We have to just activate particle collisions on the particle script. Then check this box, and thirdly, we need to use the function onParticleCollision2D. That's a function which will be called every time a particle collides with something else, like a 2D collider, and that's really simple to use. I have to just damage the player every time he gets hit. I'm also applying a bit of knockback so that the player gets thrown away from the lava. Let's move on to the falling rocks and spikes. So the first problem which instantly came to my mind about the rocks was that the rocks will be rolling down the hills and the lighting will be a bit difficult to manage. You see, all the other sprites in the game don't really rotate, so the lighting can just be painted into the sprites themselves. But for rocks which can rotate, of course, because they're rolling down, the lighting must be handled by either 2D lights or a shader graph, and I decided for shader graph because I like shader graph. So that's what I did. I made a simple shader which takes in the rotation of the object as a variable and then changes the lighting according on how it's rotated. So the next thing which we need for falling rocks is that they actually hurt the player when they hit the player. That's really simple. We just need to detect collisions between rocks and the player and then send a damage message to the player script. But there's a problem. That is, when the rocks lay on the ground and the player jumps on the rocks, there's still a collision and we don't really want that. So I fixed that by simply disabling damaging of the rocks when they lay still. This is the final result. I hope that looks fine. We can use that in some cave, for example. When the player passes beneath those rocks, the rocks fall down because they're triggered by some script and the player gets hurt. Or they can block an entrance or something like that. After that I also made spikes. That's pretty similar but a lot easier because the spikes don't rotate. They just fall down and the rotation is always the same. And also when they hit the player or the ground, they explode. So the last thing that I did was to make some needle particles. They're needed because some game objects, like the spikes, need some new particles effects applied to make them feel alright. So that's all I had time in these 2 weeks. Again, apologies for not uploading a video last Sunday. Next week I'm probably gonna turn to boss fights. We're gonna make the evolids and implement more spells to make the boss fights more interesting. I hope you enjoyed this devlog, and thanks for watching.